Hello there, good evening and welcome to News Night here on Metro Television. I am Desmond Okreku Danso, and in the next 60 minutes we've got stories both local and international coming your way. And we're streaming live on Facebook at Metro TV Ghana and also on DSTV channel 277. Let's take a look at our headlines this evening. Coming up, the meeting between Ghana Chamber of Telecommunications and the Ministry of Communications ends, but without any positive indication yet over the way forward for SIM card re-registration as deadline of July 31 looms. We'll bring you details across the country. Also coming up, Gas Tanker Drivers Association and Petrol Tanker Unions declare a sit-down strike effective 1st August 2022 over poor conditions of service. Also coming up, the Wildlife Division of the Forestry Commission bans hunting, capturing and destruction of wild animals for a 4-month period effective 1st August 2022. We'll be speaking to them for some more on this particular story. And on the international front, the U.S. Embassy in Nairobi suspends appointments for visa interviews until June 2024 owing to high demand and COVID-linked backlogs. Now let's settle for the details. I'll begin with the SIM card re-registration and thousands that throng the office of the National Identification Authority, and they have actually called on the leadership to deploy more personnel to speed up the already frustrating process for the identification card acquisition. Now, deadline for SIM re-registration is 2 days away, raising demand for Ghana cards, which is a prerequisite document for the registration. Frustrated applicants are calling for the extension of the deadline. And my colleague Elvis Ando was at these sites and comes through with a report. I will bring you that report in a bit. But let's move on to the central region and find out what exactly is happening there. And some prospective applicants of the Ghana card in the central region actually have been complaining about the long queues, and my colleague Akwesiado brings us more in this report.
Okay, yeah. So it appears to be that many Ghanaians risk losing their SIM card should the communications ministry go ahead to disconnect persons who have not yet registered their SIM card with their Ghana card, because as you know, it's become more of a challenge having many persons getting their Ghana card to go to link to their SIM cards and then re-register their SIM card. Now, Annie, there is this issue with persons who have registered with the NIA but have not been able to have their cards yet. You know, the NIA, which is supposed to be keeping custody of persons who have registered, is saying that some of the ID cards have been printed but are missing and cannot be found by the NIA. So what the NIA does is that you visit their office and then they will tell you that, yes, indeed, you've had your card printed, but it is missing. And so you would have to reissue your card to you. And to be able to go, the officials of NIA would have to file a request to reissue your card for you. And that request normally takes about a month or two to be able to do that. There are plenty persons in the region who are having that peculiar situation. Yes, they've registered, their cards have been printed, but the NIA said that their cards are missing. And so they would have to wait for about a month or two to be able to have another card printed out.
Now to the Ashanti region, where some prospective applicants for the Ghana card in the Ashanti regional capital of Kumasi have accused some officials of the National Identification Authority of demanding up to 400 Ghana cedis for the issuance of a Ghana card within 24 hours. They also accuse the registration officials of giving preference to certain people to the detriment of others. Hundreds of applicants have taken over the premises of the National Insurance Authority office in Adum in Kumasi in the quest to acquire their Ghana National Identification Card, mostly for the re-registration of their SIM cards.
What's the meaning of that? Huh? And I remember Betcha Bansika. What's the Sanko Chomi Diwo baby? Near Mamma Gang. What's the meaning of this thing? And I'm Cassie in Diana. Huh? But baby Cheska, me Chameba. And the mobile office war. Now catch me say, be mini card Dominia, you will find my money to me so that I can leave this place. If there is not going to be at the trouble, baby, go police station. Let me buy no catch him say, put me in your mind, you will find me my money. I guess I buy blood.
Oh, buy back to the series, and we be line on days, we be like to the series. Obey no over banner. Almost so much you or much they didn't be didn't answer between now, obey. Obi so me catch say dinner watch a year ma number, and I said, yes, I'm our number won't be right inside. Number no so obi ama numbers. And we be better have my dear channel. Omunya numbers are matching. And there's a body even go body on a penny. I said to you, they say, actually, the year where you actually will be on so my catching such a number, never go inside.
11:30 and the day I say, it's in the bedroom. Now, in the pardon, which I have said, Mosia, you, baby, I have scanner 30 cities, and you who baby so are trading, and you who baby so a bit rare. You have a card. I a buy any trouble. The communities and say, and come money are buying penny for near the Encasa, now be a woman or more card national. For more line, Yanni, I answer so a card, Ilano, also so a card, so yeah, you also a cube, so yeah,
Now, many people are stranded in various NI registration centers across the northern region. This comes after the deadline for linking of SIM cards to the NI cards is getting closer. And in an interview with Metro News, some of the frustrated people said they have been sleeping at the registration centers for days now. This spoke to our northern regional correspondent, Al-Hassan Dibaba.
The people are there, and I don't think all of us will be able to do it. So at least the government should extend the date so that it can recover all of us so that we can do register it.
Many cannot meet the deadline. I, for instance, I did the Ghana card on 2019. 2019 to date. I've not been able to get my Ghana card. So I had to use my, because I have the fear that my SIM card will get blocked, which is very useful to me because you can't do anything these days without phone or SIM card. So by the first, if I'm able to get it, then I am dead like that. So now I'm using my wife's Ghana card. I have cut new SIM cards for her to do it for me.
We have been here since last night. I did the registration 3 months ago, but did not get the card. They should extend the days so that we all can register. Everything now has to do with phone and SIM cards, so blocking them will have dire consequences on us.
Now, still on this, our sources from the Ministry of Communication indicate that the Minister for Communication and Digitalization, Ursula Osu-Ekufo, has commenced an engagement with key stakeholders and all telecommunication companies to determine whether to extend the recent SIM card registration exercise or not. Barely 48 hours to the second deadline of Sunday, July 31, 2022, some Ghanaians, as we have gathered in our regional interactions, are still calling for an extension of the exercise to the end of the year. Now, despite the appeals, the Ministry of Communications has emphasized its resolve to stick to the current date. A duration it maintains has been enough to ensure compliance. Efforts to get the National Identification Authority, the Ministry of Communications and the Telecommunications Chamber have not proved successful, and we'll try on that and bring you that in our subsequent bulletins. Away from the SIM card re-registration to Sarah Adjoasafo and some residents of Domi Kwabenya have stated that they are indifferent, while others are behind government's action regarding the dismissal of Sarah Adjoa-Safo as the Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection by the Presidency. My colleague Shadrach Odame-Jare visited the constituency and has come through with this report.
MP, last time I won any day.
Oh, I check Accra. By the amity, and he say, yes, in the Bayare or Koshene Bano. The Amisumi me or bata, I honestly or bata no nim the Anibabedi. It is all to me Koshene Bar, me dream say Bonibie nim. Kakra Miss me to me a canon.
Did I mean be south? Mamma wants so a him fan out.
Me met a dome.
Domianca, sir. MP, time, when was the last time I won?
No, me who natchemo.
Who natche? What's in one same say, yes, we're too quiet and so way. At the end, what's the affair? Free so who natchet?
Never been Teshe, Mumacasa TV, and I'm in Teshe, can't mean you Yasama walk and say a sinner by a link to a quack or shed about.
Na enra jo ye man panyin na adodan kwakufu ado yesi wayi na di o ma ne nye suafo a o hwe enkwala ma ne social protection ho nsem biom se timamuni wan kasa so wadwen kire wo ho ene dey
so nya na djuma yie dia na obeyi na didi a ye mra so obeyi na djuma yie dia na se yesu yeta na chi so onya wa djuma yie dia na obeyi wa didi a ndie wa wasama
nti wo de hu boni e wo
ni hu boni e wo dia
so she's saying it's been a while she saw her MP and she actually did not even know she has traveled abroad to take care of the son as said or as running in the news. Now to say
ye dia chire sanso ya moayen ye dia moayen de my committee sir.
To me, I think her role should be taken from her, because we cannot give you the mandate that come and take care of the community and then you go and sit somewhere and be thinking of your children or be thinking about your family, whilst it's we the people in the community gave you power that come and take care of us. So I think we will plead to the government that for this we should take the mandate from her, then we can give it to someone who can, do the work with energetic energy.
So you feel because of the absence of your MP, you are lacking in areas like security, social amenities?
Exactly.
It's also worth noting that now the Ministry for Gender and then Social Protection has been put in charge of a caretaker minister, Cecilia Abena Dapa, who is the Minister for Sanitation, to take care of it until a substantive minister is put in charge of that particular ministry. My name is Shadrach Odame-Jare from here in Dom Kwabinya constituency.
Still on Adjoa-Safo, the Deputy Communications Director of the New Patriotic Party, Kamaldeen Abdullahi, has said that the MPP did their best in handling the defaulting attitude of the Member of Parliament for Dome Kwabinya Adjoa-Safo. He spoke earlier on Good Afternoon Ghana.
On Thursday, Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection, Sarah Adjoa-Safo,
You're still watching Newsnight here on Metro Television. We're still live on Facebook at Metro TV Ghana and also on DSTV channel 277. We'll bring you the story on Kamaldeen later. Now let's get into a developing story where the annual ban on the hunting and capturing of wild animals, otherwise known as the close season, begins on the 1st of August 2022 and ends on the 1st of December. That is in conformity to the Wildlife Conservation Regulation by the Forestry Commission. This was contained in a statement signed by the Executive Director of the Wildlife Division, Nana Kofi Edunsia. There's more in the following report.
Close season is to preserve wildlife in the country. During this season, it shall be illegal for anyone to hunt, capture, or destroy any wildlife during the outlined periods, except grass cutter, known locally as a crantier, which can be done only under licenses issued by the Wildlife Division of the Forestry Commission. This ban is in line with the Wildlife Conservation Regulation 1971 LI 685. The Commission has adopted the closed season as a way of regulating the utilization and curbing of the decline of wildlife, and also to ensure the sustainable use of resources in the country. Anyone who violates this order shall be dealt with in accordance with the law.
Now let's get to know more about this particular ban as we speak to Richard Jima, who is with the Wildlife Division of the Ghana Forestry Commission. Hello, good evening and welcome to News Night. First off, why the need for this particular action from the Wildlife Division of the Forestry?
Yes, good evening and thank you for the question. You realize that this particular ban is a measure to ensure the conservation of wildlife that we have in Ghana. It's a period where we think the animals are supposed to be given respite, a form of rest, so that they can recuperate and also be able to take care of their young, nurse them, and then we will see an increase in the wildlife population so that human beings, we can also benefit from the wildlife. So it's a conservation measure. At the same time, it's a measure that we use to take care of the welfare of the animals. And so that throughout the year, if we set a period aside to keep the animals from being hunted upon or captured or be in possession, I think it's a worthy call that we all have to understand and then comply with.
Is there any data to support, the reason for this closed season, so that we know that in December, when it is reopened, know that the animals are able to do this, that, and that? Any data to support this particular move?
Yes, certainly. We at the Wildlife Division of the Forestry Commission, through our inventory, are able to know the numbers, whether they are increasing or not. And you also have to understand that this season is a season where most of the animals do undertake mating, and so that they procreate. And so there's the likelihood that we are going to see increase in numbers from1st August to 1st December. From previous studies that we've done, we know that it takes place during these times. Most of the animals are active, and then they are able to procreate and bring up their young. It's a way also, like I said earlier, to ensure that the welfare of the animals are also taken care of, and also the conservation and their numbers are maintained. Said that when you are given a license to hunt them, then we know that there are a lot of the animals in the system for you to take, so that it does not affect the numbers of the wildlife. And then we do what we call sustainable management of the animal species. So data, as you said, we rightly have the data on those species, yes.
Now, Ghana has a very huge vegetative cover, forestry cover. How do you plan on making sure that you're able to go by this particular ban?
If you take the ecology of Ghana, there are forest areas, there are savanna areas, there are coastal areas, and we have our officials in all these ecological zones. So you realize that the Forestry Commission and the Wildlife Division, for that matter, are strategically stationed across all these ecological zones. And so once we have officers there that are manning these wild animals, we are able to keep information and data on them, and then we are able to manage them sustainably. But what you also have to know is that this work, we are not doing it alone. We need the public, we need the communities. And so through the communities also, they are able to support us in their work. We have what we call the Community Resource Management Areas, which we call CREMA for short. And it's a way that we engage the communities to assist the Wildlife Division to manage these wildlife resources. Because honestly, the Wildlife Division cannot be everywhere in the country. But with the community's participation and understanding and the various training that we give to the communities, they are able to assist us take care of the animals in the various ecological zones.
So you're sure that hunters across the country are aware of this particular ban?
Yes, the hunters, majority of them, so to speak, are aware of this ban because we do a lot of sensitization and conservation education.
Okay.
Into the very hot spots where we see those hunting activities being rife. We rather get to the communities through our officers on the ground, and so that we do constant education for them to understand that when the ban on hunting comes, they should be able to follow it, because it is just a period from 1st August to 1st December, and we expect them to comply. Especially, we also prevail on them that they should acquire the necessary permits to be able to undertake these activities. Because once we have a data on the hunters and we know which hunter we've issued permits to, it makes the work easier for us to also to do the monitoring. And so we go to the communities, sensitizing them, and some of the communities also help us to identify the hunters and then ask them to come to our offices to register. And so that those particular species that are allowed to be hunted, we make sure that they get access to them, because we have a schedule of animals that we manage. And there are certain animals that totally, or we call them wholly protected. There is no way you can hunt.
So animals such as?
It's never, the famous ones, for instance, the lions, the leopards, those are Schedule 1 species. For them, they are no-go areas. There's no way you get a permit to hunt them. But there are others animals whose numbers are in reasonably high quantities. And we think that for those animals, when they are well managed, we call them the partially protected animals. We can give you permits to do the harvest. But then, during the close season, when such animals are even with their young, you are not allowed to hunt them.
Oh, finally,
so we put all this in place so that we ensure that our wildlife is kept intact.
Okay. Finally, what is the punishment for persons who flout this particular ban?
So the punishments are there. For instance, if on summary conviction, you are found to be culpable to these things that we've listed, we have what we call the penalty units, which can range between 250 to 500 penalty units. Currently in Ghana, a penalty unit is around 12 cedis. And so then you can do the calculation, and see the range in which you are. But apart from the penalty units also, you are liable to a summary conviction also. So you can also be put in jail between 1 and 2 years, depending on the gravity of the offense, or sometimes even both may be applied to you, both the fine and as well as putting it in jail.
Thank you so much, Richard Jima, for speaking to us here on Metro TV, and he is with the Wildlife Division of the Forestry Commission. Now, away from that, the Gas Tanker Drivers Association and the Petrol Tanker Unions have declared a sit-down strike effective August 1, 2022, in protest of what they describe as unfair treatment. According to the associations, they intend remaining on strike until a decision is taken to resolve their outstanding grievances.
The Gas Tanker Drivers Association and Petroleum Tanker Union, in consultation with the LPG Marketers Association and Ghana LPG Operators Association, in a press statement outlined 3 main grievances for which they are embarking on the strike. These include poor working conditions of tanker drivers, ban on LPG stations under construction since 2017, unfair treatment of petroleum tanker drivers by BOST and National Petroleum Authority. According to the association, all necessary steps have been taken to have their grievances resolved have resulted to no avail. In view of this, the Gas Tanker Drivers Association wish to state that they are laying down their tools and embarking on a sit-down strike from Monday, August 1, 2022 until their grievances are resolved. The association further noted that they have tolerated promises and assurance for far too long without any positive resolutions. It is on this background that they are therefore demanding the immediate review of the working conditions of tanker drivers, especially drivers' salaries, and immediate lifting on the ban on stations which were already under construction before the imposition of the ban in 2017, and subsequent lifting of the ban on construction of new LPG stations And finally, an immediate cessation of the unfair treatment of petroleum tanker drivers by BOST and NPA.
Now let's stay longer on this and speak to Justice Mante, who is Secretary of the LPG Marketers Association. Good evening, Mr. Mante, and thank you for joining us here on Newsbeat. Now tell us the implication of this, your strike. Do you think that it will help the authorities come to your aid and listen to your grievances?
You also listening?
Hello, Justice.
Hello.
Great, I can hear you now. So I was asking that, what's the implication of this strike action that you have declared?
Oh, the implications are quite simple and straightforward, as you stated. The grievances are not new. They've been around for a very long time. We've laid them before the authorities on many occasions. And as you read in the press release, there have been several assurances and promises of resolving them. And if you also remember that there have been several attempts at industrial actions, strikes. Every time there is that action, the authorities approach the unions and assure them that they are going to resolve the issues, that they should call off the strike and they will resolve the issues. Immediately the strikes are called off, everything goes back to as it were, and it has been like that. And as stated in the statement, since 2017 up to now, and the situation has not changed, hence the current action.
Okay. Now, I know that in October last year, there was a strike action. In March of this year, there was a strike action. Why do you think that this time the authorities will be able to heed to your grievances?
Well, that is the point of the press release, that this time, unless we get a concrete resolution or a concrete decision, because the other times they have always been promises and assurances, but this time we want concrete statements and resolutions before everything will come to an end.
Okay. Now, what will be the effect on the markets now that you're not going to, be working?
Sorry, the effect on the market?
Yeah.
Well, I think we are mainly the players that interface with the public, the general public. So unfortunately, the general public is going to experience some difficulty in obtaining LPG for their domestic and industrial use. But be it as it may, we hope the authorities will consider the situation and view it as serious as it is and take the necessary steps to resolve the grievances as they are listed.
Okay. So, well, since you declared the strike, has there been any interaction from those in authorities to listen once more to what you have to say to them? I mean, anything?
Well, we've just released the statement, and we are yet to get any reaction from the authorities.
Okay. Thank you very much, Justice Mante, for speaking to us. And he's Secretary of the LPG Marketers Association. You're still watching News Night here on Metro Television. We've got some more stories coming up.
The works, estimated at $35 million United States dollars, and scheduled to be completed within 24 months from today, are being undertaken by Messrs. First Sky Construction Limited.
Welcome back from the break, and thanks for staying. Now, President Akufo-Addo has cut short for the commencement of rehabilitation works on the Domekitesi Road, addressing participants at a sword cutting ceremony. President Akufo-Addo said the project is part of the government's agenda of providing quality roads for citizens.
The 23-kilometer stretch of road connects the Accra to Kumasi Road to the Accra-Eburi-Kuforibia Road. The road also provides access to Ascension University, one of our nation's foremost and most prestigious universities. The rehabilitation of the Dome-Kitasi Road is being funded by the government of Ghana and the Kuwaiti Fund. We enjoy excellent relations with the state of Kuwait. We're determined to widen and deepen those relations. The works, estimated at 35 million United States dollars, and scheduled to be completed within 24 months from today, are being undertaken by Messrs. First Sky Construction Limited, one of the best road construction companies in the country. This project and many other road projects across the country are in line with government's agenda to provide good quality road infrastructure to help accelerate the socio-economic development of the country. Indeed, some of the road projects completed throughout the country during my presidency include the following: the construction of 100 kilometers of roads and auxiliary infrastructure under the Kumasi Inner Ring Road and adjacent streets.
Now, on the quality of roads, the Minister for Roads, Kwesi Makwatu, said provisions of drainage systems have been made possible to ensure the road stands the test of time.
Provision has been made for drainage facilities along the entire stretch of the road. This includes roadside drainage systems and culverts. The drainage systems have been designed to allow for factors on climate change to ensure that the systems are resilient and the road does not become flooded during storms. Ladies and gentlemen, walkways have been provided in the urbanized section of the entire road. Adequate provision for public transport facilities like walkways have been made. To improve safety on the road, line markings and signs have been incorporated, as well as provision of street lights on the stretch.
Now, the Alliance for Foot Soldiers Advocacy is strongly demanding for the removal of some non-performing ministers and other government appointees to pave way for competent and selfless hands to bring their expertise to bear to transform the economy. The Alliance says the breaking the eight mantra can easily not be achieved if a comprehensive strategy is not put in place to lift Ghanaians out of their suffering plight.
Speaking at the press conference in Accra, the Alliance for Foot Soldiers Advocacy lauded President Akufo-Addo for revocation of Adwoa Safoe's appointment as Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection. The Alliance said it's unacceptable and heartbreaking to see some ministers and government appointees perform poorly, yet kept at post.
Governor, just like the game of soccer, it makes room for substitution, because the probability of fatigue, injury, etc. may set in. And as the head coach of a team, and in this case, head of the central government, we expect the president to do some changes and bring on board new, dynamic, competent, selfless and result-oriented personality within the MPP fraternity to help the government and give hope to party people. Indeed, AFA is ready to furnish the office of the president with specific names and portfolios which we require an urgent need for reshuffle.
The Alliance stressed breaking the eight mantra can easily be achieved if a comprehensive strategy is adopted to lift the plight of Ghanaians. It therefore urged the government to demonstrate enough commitment to the needs of party members and Ghanaians at large.
Mr. President, how your government treats the concern of party members will largely contribute to the success or otherwise of breaking the eighth agenda. Indeed, breaking the eighth agenda must move beyond mere sloganeering. It must move beyond mere sloganeering. The government must demonstrate enough care and commitment to the needs of party people.
You're still watching News Night here on Metro Television. We're taking a break. We'll be back with some business stories. Please stay. Now in business, the Ghana Private Road Transport Union GPRTU has no plans of reducing transport fares anytime soon, despite marginal decrease in fuel prices. According to its spokesperson, Abbas Moro Ibrahim, the level of reduction in fuel prices is not significant to affect transport fares.
Petroleum Authority (NPA) says it is expecting further fuel price reductions at the pumps from August 1st, 2022, following the reduction in prices of petrol and diesel on the world market. The NPA has assured that its outfit will be monitoring the pumps to see if fuel stations are complying with the pricing formula in changing their fuel prices. Speaking to the spokesperson of the GPRTU, Moro Abbas Ibrahim, he said this will not lead to reduction in transport fares.
Past the 10% that we said, it passed 15%, it went very high. So they should tell us how much have they reduced, what was the percentage, for everybody to know. So increasing one city and taking 10 pesos, that's not the result. They should tell everybody, this is what we put on it. Last 2 months, this is what we put on it. Last week, this is what we put on it. Now, we have started the reduction. We took these pesos out, and for the second time, we are taking this. For the public, everybody to be aware. Because they are owing, the whole nation is owing drivers at best 15% increment, of which we were supposed to come up with another upward adjustment, which we haven't done. So they shouldn't hide behind anything. You add some cities and take some pesos, then you behave as if you are too perfect. No. They should make it clear for everybody to understand where we were, where we are now.
He further explained what his outfit will consider before reducing transport fares.
And of course, if that is significant, we compare the spare parts where they were before the main increment. We compare the lubricants where the prices it was before them. Then we all strike very fair deal. But increasing something one city, taking 10 pesos or 5 pesos, then you tell everybody you are doing well. I mean, we are not blind men, excuse my language. We are drivers, we are not blind men at all. At all. They should be very open to everybody, for everybody in the nation to understand.
Currently, diesel is almost 15 cedis per litre, while petrol sells for over 11 cedis per litre at the pumps.
Now, the government has revised its revenue target for the electronic transaction levy, e-levy, for this year to 611 million Ghana cedis. The government had hoped to rake in about 6.9 billion cedis from the collection of the levy on mobile money and other electronic transactions. But what has actually been realized is 4.9 billion cedis following the delay in the passage of the e-levy bill.
The levy, which was initially pegged at 1.75% on mobile money and other electronic transactions, was later reduced to 1.5% following protest from various stakeholders. After the delay in the passage of the e-levy bill by Parliament, it was predicted that the levy will not achieve its intended target. Indeed, it's just been 3 months into the implementation of the levy, and it has underperformed woefully. A leading member of the New Patriotic Party, Gabi Asari Otredakun, noted that the tax measure since its implementation has generated only 10% of estimated revenue. Figures from the 2022 Media Budget Review have also disclosed that the new tax, which many Ghanaians have opposed vehemently, has only raked in 93.7 million cedis from the 1.46 billion cedis target for the first half of this year. It is for this reason that the government has revised again the e-levy's revenue target for the year 2022 to 611 million cedis. This cut of almost 90% was also stated in the media budget review document. This development has since intensified calls by stakeholders and Ghanaians as a whole to scrap the electronic transfer levy. Despite all of this, the value of mobile money transactions has not dipped significantly, according to data from the Bank of Ghana.
Now, Vodafone has agreed a sale of its operations in Ghana to Telecel Group as the British telecommunications giant looks to refocus on other key markets. The London-listed company will sell its majority stake in Vodafone Ghana to Africa-focused Telecel subject to certain conditions. Vodafone entered Ghana in 2006 when it paid the West African country's government $900 million for 70% of Ghana Telecommunications Company. The government retained a 30% holding in the business. Telecel plans to help fund the acquisition by later offloading the Ghana Business Mobile Towers. A representative for Telecel confirmed the talks with Vodafone but declined to comment further. And that's all for business news. We're taking a break. We'll be back with some sports news with Phil John Cote. Please stay tuned.
It's 48 past 19 hours GMT in the Ghanaian capital, Accra. It's time for sports. My name is Phil John Quarter. Let's go straight to Birmingham in the United Kingdom when the 22nd edition of the Commonwealth Games is taking place. Bad start for the Ghana's hockey team. That's the ladies. They were pounced on by the ladies from Delhi, India in their first group match. They lost by 5-1 in that match played near the Alexander Stadium in Birmingham. So those are pictures or videos of the first match involving Ghana's hockey ladies and their counterparts from Delhi in India in hockey. Bad news for the ladies from Accra over there, beaten by India by 5-0 earlier this afternoon. Well, away from that, let's go to the Benin capital, that is Cotonou, where Ghana's Chan team are preparing for a qualifier, the second leg against Benin. In the first tie, Ghana beat them by 3-0 at the Cape Coast Sports Stadium. Arno Waka is in charge of the team.
Game last Sunday, straight ahead, we started preparing towards the return game, which is tomorrow. In fact, we trained throughout the week, up to yesterday in the morning till we left to Accra here. And today we are moving to Benin. We've prepared well, and I believe we are going to win also there and make ourselves and the nation proud. It's going to be a tough game because we've beaten them 3-0 here. And going to their home, definitely they will give us a strong opposition. But we know, or I believe, the preparation that we've had will definitely qualify us to the next stage. I'm promising Ghanaians that we are well prepared, and I believe we will win the cup this time for Ghana, and we need their prayers, we need their support for us to win and qualify and win the cup for Ghana.
Let's go to the King Power Stadium in England, where tomorrow will be the Community Shield. It's the precursor to the EPL involving Liverpool and the defending champions Manchester City. Let's hear the managers. We're talking about Pep Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp.
Yes, a lot of clubs, like every single season, many clubs involved for the quality, all of them they have in terms of of managers, players, history. We are going to try for the game is Manchester City, not this player, the other one. We are all of us, and we're going to try to be competitive team. Tomorrow start the first title. It's an honor to play again. That means we play to play this competition, to win the Premier League or FA Cup, so always a big success to be in there. We're going to try to do a good game against, we know each other quite well, a tough opponent.
And the situation is a very important game, and the situation is we still have to prepare a season, and we cannot ignore that. So we played last night against Salzburg, we lost 1-0. We trained the day before twice. So pretty intense. That's what we have to do. I cannot ignore the fact that after this important game is a season coming up. So we have to extend our preseason if we want into the season. We play on Saturday against City, and we play on Sunday a preseason friend or test game, whatever, against Strasbourg. Then we play Fulham, and the next day we play another game, just that we can extend our preseason. That's what we have to do.
Jurgen Klopp is the manager of Liverpool. They're preparing for the Community Shield tie to be played tomorrow at 17 hours CMT at King Power Stadium in Leicester. That's your sports. My name is Phil John Quarty. Up next, Showbiz.
My name is SITDOWN, and it's time for entertainment news. The popular Kumawood actor Clement Bonny is back to acting and is on a new project, Zongo Boys, which is premiering from today to Sunday at the Silverbird Cinemas. Now, during an interview with Metro News, he stated that the only moment he is happy in his life is when a camera is put on him.
You own private jets. You are owning houses. That is why I came here.
My acting is a spirit. It's not just acting or imitating or something. You see, when a pastor is preaching or when a pastor sees congregation, that is where God arrives. And that's how I am. If you want to make Mr. Beautiful happy, put camera on me. That's the only moment I'm happy in my life. Not with my wife, not with my girlfriend, not drinking, not with my guys. But if you really want to make me happy, put camera on me.
Every day you come across Chief Imam in Italy, he's on transit. He got nothing to do with Rome.
Now for our next story, when asked about how careful he is with the kind of roles he plays in movies, Ghanaian actor Jete Anang answered by saying that every story must have a certain message and vision.
I think that every story must have a certain message. It must have a certain vision, and therefore I'm very particular about the stories I go in for, knowing that the aesthetics can be there, the catchy as we know it, but at the end of the day there has to be some substance. In our world today, we have so much opportunity to tell stories that would leave our audiences spellbound. They leave that space and the conversation continues. Whether it's considering an idea, reconsidering our motives, the direction we're going as a people, as a society. These are important, things that we need to look at. And so I'm particular about the stories I go in for, whether, it sometimes even challenges me. And it's not always about, doing something and throwing it out there for public consumption, but I kind of reflect, through these stories and the characters that I play, because I'm speaking back to my person, and so it's a win-win situation.
Well, that's it for entertainment news. My name is SITDOWN. Desmond?
Thank you very much, Asida, for bringing us entertainment news. Up next, we take a look at some stories making the headlines on the international front.
The U.S. Embassy in Nairobi has suspended appointment for visa interviews until June 2024 owing to high demands and COVID-linked backlogs. In a statement, the embassy acknowledged the frustration of Kenyans wanting to travel to the U.S. In Palestine, a 16-year-old Palestinian identified as Amjad Abu Alia has been shot dead by the Israeli army in a village near the occupied West Bank city of Ramallah. The killing took place during confrontations with the Israeli and Jewish settlers that broke out following a protest by Palestinians against settler violence in the area. Moving to Nigeria, a statement issued by the Nigerian Youth Forum called on its members to get ready for a protest in regard to the continuous scarcity of premium motor spirit in the country. The statement claimed the problem in the oil and gas sector is as a result of favoritism in posting, lack of proper records of transactions, and others, which has caused the nation embarrassment among the community.
And that's all for the news this evening. Many thanks for joining us. I'm Desmond Okreku-Danso, and yes, we'll be back at same time tomorrow. And do enjoy the rest of our programs. But 10 p.m. there will be Newsline. And have a great weekend. Bye-bye.